To start off this video, I want to talk about how I've given it some time thinking and how my content is and if I'm a little bit too toxic or I'm not. And I've thought about it and I'm not toxic on Wuthering Waves, and I am gonna continue to make these videos talking about Wuthering Waves in a bad light when it's necessary to talk about it. Because in life you have to have balance, and there is not really any balance in terms of talking about the actual things that happen in Wuthering Waves. I see a lot of people try to not talk about bad things in Wuthering Waves while they readily available to talk about bad things in Hoyo. So I have to be that guy that will talk about the bad things in Wuthering Waves. In fact, I'm going to be installing Wuthering Waves back again so I can make proper critique of your game. So get used to it. I'm going to be here for a long time. So I also will be shitting on saintontas when the time comes. And speaking of time, right now is the right time. Now, there's a content creator by the name of Kevin, something like that. Is a Hoiverse content creator that mostly covered Honkai Star Rail, and he made a videos talking about the contract and how he was told not to play Wuthering Waves as much, but saintontas, anything that he can use as a weapon to attack Hoyo, the eon of Hoyo hating is going to attack that 100%, and here we are today. So I'm not going to talk about the full video, it's not necessary. What I want to talk about is the specific clip in the video because it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now roll it.
The amount of issues that came out during Wuwa 1.0 is, I'm sure, something that I don't need to reiterate to you all, because I'm sure we're all familiar with it. But during the 1.0 launch, I would consider it one of the most, if not the most disastrous launch in gacha gaming history. It was a very buggy launch. There were a ton of unpolished issues that definitely need to be sorted out before they release the game. I think if they had just given it maybe 1 or 2 extra months and polished out some of those more finer details, they definitely would have had a lot better product upon launch.
When it comes to the launch, a lot of people had some very different experiences, and this is my headcanon when it comes to the launch. There were some individuals with some dog shit PCs and some dog shit phones that, in all honesty, probably shouldn't have even been able to install the game at all. And then those individuals with really bad tech were publicizing the issues that they were having. And then a lot of shills that were clearly wishing for the downfall of the game. And when you know that Hoyoverse is on the record asking people to not cover the game, guys, is it really outside of the realm of possibility for Hoyoverse to have really done a marketing campaign for how bad Wuwa's launch was? When you know that Wuwa's anniversary was astroturfed as well by Hoyoverse players, and there was a bunch of doom posting about the anniversary that was confirmed by the Reddit mods, would it be so crazy for Hoyo to do a little bit of extra work to really accentuate how bad Wuwa's launch is? I don't know, right? That's the thing. I'm just theorizing what could have occurred. But when there's already this many instances, and this is the thing, Kekvin's gonna talk about how Hoyo asked him not to cover Wuwa as well. I mean, And so him kind of talking a lot about the launch and knowing how many individuals had no issues at all, right? And the issues that we do see, and the ones that he covered in here, right? Like assets not loading and stuff like that. This is kind of like a sign of some really dog shit tech that's running the game in the first place. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like was happening behind the scenes during the early months of Wuwa. And I would not be surprised, knowing Hoyoverse's track record that's been proven, if they had a hand to play. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not going to say that they did it, though.
Extra months and polished out some of those more finer details, they definitely would have had a lot better product upon launch, but nonetheless, they weren't finished out. There were problems with mobile gaming, with some of the funniest screenshots I've ever seen, with characters getting completely bugged out of the game.
And one of the reasons for why I think Hoyo kind of had a hand in it was the fact that ZZZ arguably had a worse launch. we're talking about how the mobile graphics and stuff, right, were a little bit wonky. ZZZ didn't even let you install the game on mobile if your tech was too old. You would go into the App Store, try to download it, and it would tell you it will not run on your phone. I'm going to be honest here. Having a game that's straight up you can't even download or even try to play is way worse than a game that you can download that you're able to run, but then it doesn't run that well. One, you can at least try to play the game and install it. The other, you have to buy a whole new phone or whole new tech to be able to even try playing it. I'm going to be real, guys, right? ZZZ's launch issues at a baseline had to have been worse, but nobody talks about ZZZ's launch. Nobody talks about how bad ZZZ's launch was. Why is that when its issues were worse?
So, we have seen this clip. It is dumb as hell. And before you guys flame him for what he said, let's break it down. So, first, big topic. He mentioned that Wuthering Waves was terrible because people were playing on bad devices. That is one of the stupidest comment I've ever heard a content creator say in my life. Why? That's because it's a mobile game. It was registered as a mobile game. The issue was not the fact that people, well, it was on people not having proper devices. It was on the game being coded bad. There was a lot of bug issues, and that was because the game was not coded properly. That is insane to blame the actual players that are playing the game, saying that their devices were too old, that it couldn't run it. And why this makes no sense is, why is it that when Wuthering Waves go back into trying to fix it, they actually fix it for the devices that you claim are not supposed to be even running the device, the game? That basically means that the device that can run the game now, because of the fixes that Wuthering Waves had to do, should have been able to run it in the first place. And these are the devices that are running Zenless Zero right now. And this is interesting because of something later. So to say that Wuthering Waves was not to blame, and we are the ones to blame for having inferior devices. Mind you, I didn't really face any of the problems that were happening at the time because I have a gaming phone, a gaming PC. I don't really face these problems, but it doesn't mean that people didn't face these problems or were rightfully upset about it. Saintontas also mentioned that it was mostly overblown by Hoyo haters. Like, regardless if it was, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and say that, yeah, Hoyo hater, Hoyo defenders, Hoyo shell probably overblown the situation. It still got fixed. Like, at the end of the day, people that were genuinely curious on playing Wuthering Waves on devices that saintontas claim were not fit to play it still get a good gaming experience by the devs have to go back and fix this rather than it being left as it is. And because of this issue, you guys got a free 5-star out of it and tons of rewards and compensation, which I see as a good thing. Is it not a good thing that you guys got all these things out of this? I actually believe that that's a W. But we have to call a spade a spade. Wuthering Waves launch was absolutely horrendous, and there's the reason why they had to compensate so much was because of how horrendous the launch was. And the second thing Saint don't say, well, yeah, that is saying that ZZZ had a worse launch because ZZZ had system requirements for mobile. And that nobody talked about ZZZ bad launch. Now, this is where things get a little bit ridiculous because, first of all, nobody had a problem with Zenless Zone Zero's launch. And to say that a game's launch is bad because you can't run it on old systems is one of the most stupidest thing I ever heard a content creator say. This would be like me wanting to run Grand Theft Auto 6 on my Xbox, my original Xbox, and then I'm gonna say that, hey, because I can't run Grand Theft Auto 6 on my original Xbox, this means that this game had the worst launch in history. No, that is dumb as fuck. That is dumb as fuck. It is insane to say something like that. Something so stupid, in fact. It look, and another thing. Whether waves have system requirements, bro. The system requirements have been a thing from the dawn of freaking time, and wooden waves can't be run on everything. I have a Samsung device that I give my little nephew that cannot run wooden waves. It literally says cannot run this game. Wooden waves is not exempted from this issue. Like a modern game is just straight up not going to be running on an older device. This has been how the law of life was from the dawn of time. Like, it's so stupid. Wooden Waves, Xenozone Zero had bad issues with the TV system, and rightfully so. People outraged about it, and it got fixed. Rightfully so. Maybe Kurobas jumped on the situation, yes, but I thank them for it, because if they didn't jump on it too and overblow the situation, it wouldn't have gotten fixed. I'm absolutely grateful for that. And it's the same thing with Wooden Waves. The fact that if we had jumped on the situation and made it overblown, it got fixed, and you guys got free rewards out of it. Like, what are you complaining about? Anybody that want to say that Wooden Waves launch was better than Xenozone Zero is on crack. Plain and simple. I don't know what to say. They're just on crack.